We're going to talk about Victor Salva. Okay, so I just watched Jeepers Creepers 4, Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Um, okay, I knew that there was some controversy surrounding the film Clown House and Powder. I had no idea it was all the same person, and also the same person who wrote and directed Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, and 3. So this was a bit of an education. Now, I love the first three films. The first two films were really successful. First one was made on $10 million, made about $59 million. It was the biggest Labor Day opening. The second one topped that, although it cost $17 million, so it wasn't quite as profitable. It did make $63 million, so it made more, which is fairly rare for a horror movie to make more the second time, even though they did spend more on it, so it wasn't quite as profitable. The third film, I think, was planned on the same level as the first two, but it ended up being a limited release and basically being either straight to video or streaming. And I thought it was okay. Meg Foster was in it. She's amazing. Aside from that, I don't know much about it. But this film, I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I thought, well, with this many bad things coming from the usual suspects, I thought it must have some thing about it. So, and it's part of a series, so I thought, well, I'll see it. So I watched it. It wasn't good. It had some elements that were interesting and could have worked. It had some characters that could have been interesting. It had some actors that I quite liked. The film starts off with Dee Wallace and Gary Graham, for God's sakes, doing a scene where they're driving and they get, hunted by the creeper, and then they end up escaping, but then seeing him dump a body and then going back to investigate, and then we have them screaming when they see, down into his lair, and then we find out that it's actually a segment in a mystery TV show that this guy's watching, because there's this black guy who's obsessed with mysteries and monsters, and his girlfriend is going with him to a horror festival which is being held in the town where the creeper is supposed to, come every 23 seasons for 23 days. So yeah, I think it's called the Horror Hound Festival or something. So it's an annual thing, but they're holding it there just this year, I guess because of the creeper. They have a weird moment with a woman who runs a supernatural store who knows that she's pregnant. And there's something weirder happening there, which isn't ever explained. They win a competition and they get taken to the creeper house, and they're supposed to do some sort of escape room challenge. And there's some regular sort of redneck who looks like Gary from Nerdrotic who is part of that. And eventually they all end up, the creeper attacks them when they're out in basically the field near a cemetery approaching the house, and they all end up running into the house and trying to hide from the creeper. They get trapped in the house by some of the locals who were involved in the festival, the convention festival, whatever you want to call it. And they seem to be worshipping the creeper and trying to lure people and basically give them to him as offerings or something. There's some weird thing happening. We don't ever really see it outside of visions from the pregnant girl, and we don't ever really get it explained. This is supposedly the first in a trilogy of films, so maybe they'll explain it later, but it's just weird and vague and doesn't seem to relate at all to the creeper mythology or anything, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, it was written by Sean Michael Argo, and it was directed by Timo Vorisoa. I can't say it. I don't know. I don't think I said that right. I don't know who these people are. I don't think they had any involvement with the other films, and they seem to just be writing their own mythology on top of this. There's something about crows. We see a white crow. The girl was actually kidnapped at first before they all end up in the house, and they seem to be offering her child to him as some sort of way for him to be immortal or something, or live forever or something. He stabs her in the stomach but doesn't kill her, and none of that's really explained. And there are a few interesting, like the characters kind of could have worked, the setting could have worked. They've got some budget, but some of the effects are really not produced properly. You see, like, the lighting doesn't match. Like, there's a shot with the creeper that looks good design-wise, but he's like bright blue and the background is like a different blue because the lighting doesn't match and stuff like that. They tried. You can tell they tried. I just don't know what went wrong, but it's not great. The interesting part is when they are stuck in the house, there's 5 people stuck in the house trying to avoid the creeper, and instead of just everyone being separated off and being picked off one by one, they sort of try to work as a group, and that is a bit more interesting. Although it ends up on like worse than like the Legend of Jaws 4 sort of territory for the ending. Basically, the girl allows herself to be the bait while, actually at first, the creeper has killed one of the girls, taken her upstairs, and he's eating her. The other guys, 2 of the guys come up to try and lure him down. One of them gets killed, the other one runs down the stairs and hides with the boyfriend while the girl allows herself to be bait. And the creeper comes out, and it's like she knows what she's supposed to do, and she has a ceremonial knife and she puts it down and basically gives herself to the creeper, and he grabs her by the neck and holds her up. Meanwhile, the guys are up on top of the roof removing a giant like metal bird sculpture that's got like a giant spike on it, and they throw that down and stab it through him. It looks ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And then a bunch of the crows come. Well, they already come and were attacking the guys, but they came and they basically, it's like they took him away with them. And then the girl gets taken away in the car when the police come, and her eyes turn black, like somehow she's been infected by the demon or something. And then the last shot is of the creeper sort of popping out of like the crows, like he's being eaten, and it's like all his skin's taken off and he's raw again, but he's like being reborn or something. I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's no explanation for anything. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It doesn't really work. It could have. It came close. It's interesting, but it's not the worst horror movie I've seen. But compared to the other films, it's nothing by comparison, and I don't know where they're going with this. But I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.